Hello friends, welcome to edCafe. Today we have a very special guest with us. She's an educator, she's a principal, and she's a fighter. But she's gonna tell you about herself, and I'm gonna move it over to her. So it's over to you, Alka ma'am.
I would like to thank edCafe for giving this opportunity where I can put up my points related to my experience, and if it supports someone, I'd be very seriously happy about it. I'm Alka Singh, Principal Bluebells Model School, Sector 4 Gurgaon, and I'm an educator for almost 33 years now. Started off with my journey from St. Michael's Academy, Chennai. Adiyar was the place, and all over the country I've been teaching or I was leading schools, and finally right now I'm at Bluebells. And to be very frank, if I talk about my 33 years of journey, it is something where I would say that I've always been like a student, learning at each phase. And that's what I am right now also, teaching, leading, as well as being I would say a student myself.
So an educator disguising herself as a student, or a student disguising herself as an educator?
I think both ways.
Yeah.
Both ways.
So 33 years, ma'am. I'm sure you've come a long way. You've taken care of a lot of students throughout. But has it been like you've always taught a single subject, or you've been focusing on a single subject, or you've been taking care of the holistic education or something like that? Just give us some light on that. So
I've been an economics teacher from day one. So like when I started teaching, I was PGTA teaching grades 11 and 12, and always throughout been teaching these grades. But yes, the moment you said holistic education, there's another aspect to it. Before teaching, like whenever I enter a class, so I do talk about the skill set or the life skills which are required, and constantly during my interaction with students, even if it is the academic interaction what I'm doing, I make sure that the value education, I would say sanskaras, is something what I keep talking about in between, rather than not making it like a moral lecture. So in between, certain aspects from my life, so I keep adding on. Otherwise, I'm a core economics teacher.
Ma'am, economics is something that has always fascinated a lot of people, but not me. But having said that, we are simply trying to we've been trying to, as a student, we've tried a lot of things to learn the subjects or the concepts, not just with economics but with physics, chemistry, mathematics. Over the years, we come out from my time when I was a student, or I'm still a student, when I was in school. We had a different environment altogether. Today the environment is a completely different thing. The technology has taken up a lot of space now, right? Do you really feel that technology, the space that technology has taken now, is threatening to schools or teachers, or in any way a bad influence on the education system?
I would say that when we talk about, has technology taken over an educator or a teacher, or is it a bad influence? Again, the same conversation which I always make is, this was always there, this conversation, as the kind of technology what we had years back, and there's a drastic change right now. But never a human being can be taken over by technology. Even right now, how the conversation what we are making, is it not that a human being enhanced with technology, and that is what we are providing? So it's absolutely the same. even before before the pandemic also, there was technology and the teachers were using it. We started off with smart classes. We are talking about applications, educational applications, all these. They're all technology supporting the educator. It is never that the technology is going to ever overcome the educator. It is as we talk about education 5.0.
Yeah.
So that is nothing but an amalgamation of technology with human being. But whereas human being with the prime and the technology is supporting. And
yes.
That's where I think we should, as educators, as human beings also, we should look at technology in the same manner. As we constantly, the conversation, the discussions, we say, is ChatGPT going to take over a teacher, or the robot which was made in one of the schools? Should we all have the same robots where a robot is there and the child goes and asks question? But does the robot look into the child's eyes and feel, has the child got it?
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like when we are teaching, we're looking at each eye and we say, oh, you can see the child has got it, or there's a question mark there.
Yeah.
So that's something which you require a human being for that.
Yeah.
And the technology is always supporting us. As an economics educator, while like ages back, almost 33 years back, I used to go give my lecture, talk about and carry certain aids with me, charts I would roll up and say, okay, this is where you need to understand, carry newspapers.
Yeah.
The change now is we just put it on maybe send a mail, or you put it on a WhatsApp group, or
yes.
So that is how the child is getting the information. Right now, what I do, which is like been common for last so many years now, I talk about flip learning. That educator is not going to be a person who's just going to like, for there's this cup and keep pouring the information.
Yeah.
And you have to ignite that creativity and curiosity in the child.
Absolutely.
To do that, for example, I'm going to start off with the chapter, let's say national income, estimation of national income. So before that, I put n number of videos, not a video of a person explaining national income, like any discussion, what is national income or the components of national income. There are so many podcasts, there's so many articles,
something to relate to.
Yeah. So let them read. I'm not giving them the content, but I'm giving that the spark, saying, okay, when they come to the class, they want to know, and they already know a certain amount, but exactly how do we go about it? So that facilitates my teaching. So that's technology which is making me a better educator day by day.
Yeah.
And the same conversation as a leader I keep doing with my teachers, saying that if you are not going to move ahead of times, you'd be left behind. And there'll be a time when you'll be without a job. But again, as everyone keeps talking about, what's happening in the tech world right now, so many layoffs. So I keep telling them, it is not about layoffs. We should never be scared. The reason is maybe our skill sets are not matching at that point of time. That doesn't mean that there won't be more jobs. The technology is never going to take away the jobs. The skill set required with this industrial revolution 5.0 would be entirely different.
Yeah. In a way, robots will only create more robots.
Yeah.
So we want to create human beings, smarter human beings. We do need teachers, right?
Yeah.
So I resonate with your ideology there, and I feel that yes, technology will definitely, if adopted wisely, technology will definitely help the education system, the educational paradigm, the whole ecosystem will be very, very enhanced, especially for India. Western countries are already moving ahead with the adoption of technology, but we're not behind. Past to the COVID wala time has been a blessing in disguise for us in a way where adoption was moved up by at least 10 years.
Yes.
So this happened. So after that happened, there is no looking back for anyone, for that matter.
Absolutely.
We've when I'm actually getting nostalgic again. When I was in school, my interaction with technology, the sole interaction in technology was the computer lab, where we used to go and just touch and feel the computer, maybe switch on and switch off. Today, the access of technology is in abundance. The students have everything with them. and to make it worse, they've got internet with a very ready access. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm simply trying to understand that how do you ensure that technology is wisely used in the system, in your education ecosystem, where it does not become a distraction or something to detest. It become where it actually supports the students and teachers to grow and learn.
See, whenever we are talking about technology, if someone is going to detest or resist, it's basically, it might come from the teachers or the parents. But if the students are guided well, the first thing what we do in our school, we have a cyber congress. So the cyber congress is like a complete combination of students and teachers, and all of them, they make the students aware about the nuances of the IT world technically, or the access to the internet. So that's the first thing. Second is, as I was talking to you, see, if I'm going to guide my kids, why don't you go and check out that website? Let's, for example, ET, so Economic Times. So why don't you go and check that out? So maybe the child might move here and there. That's something where I think as a teacher, my conversation should make the child reach the right point. And also, rather than saying don't visit, I would say, if you visit, this is the harm what you will have. So the distractions, we have a lot of conversations about distractions with the kids, saying that, what do we need to do to get off these distractions? Apart from conversations, a wise choice of websites and the access in school is done. Like obviously there's a lot of websites which are blocked by the school, but always I have this conversation with the educators also, saying that rather than saying don't do this, let's tell them, if you do this, this is going to be wrong. Like for example, we keep joking, I'm sure you don't have an Instagram account. Obviously they have, but then in case you go on Instagram, why don't you check this out? So that's the right way. Like there are so many career counselors on Instagram, so why don't you check them out? So you're guiding them. That's one way of looking at it.
This friend of mine, he gave his kid a mobile phone and to study something, and a week later he had a bill of 86,000 rupees on his card. That was some off purchase on the internet for some game he was playing, some random game he started playing, and it clicked me that even if we tell, so like you said, that there is a congress that tells students about the nuances of good and bad websites,
internet surfing,
all the internet surfing, and etc. But with mobile phone coming in, the access. So with mobile phone, the access is growing. Tomorrow, the access will grow even further.
True.
And even further, for that matter. Maybe they don't even need a mobile phone. So physical interventions may not help. Are you afraid of that? I'm not, because it's a very rhetorical question, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I cannot expect you to answer it correctly. But if you think from that perspective, do you feel afraid that something might come up jahan pe hum kuch kar hi nahi payenge, or the Congress may not be helpful for the students?
To be very frank, the fear of unknown is there with everyone, if something which we do not know. But then rather than the fear, I think we can be a bit future ready. Like we have Mr. Rakshit Tandon, who's a cyber expert, who's on our board, and we have these sessions with him constantly. So what he keeps updating us is also equally important. Like he keeps telling us, this is what is happening nowadays, maybe let's say abroad. So obviously it's going to come to India also. The kind of games which are there, I'm forgetting the name right now. There was this Blue Shark or something like that, where the kids were playing Blue Whale. There was some this game. So he was the one who told us almost a year prior to when it came to India. So that's also one good thing what we have out there.
So that's a good thing. So now you have someone to advise.
Someone to advise us. And apart from that, as an educator, I think we should be very aware. Very aware. So that's again, rather than fear, I think let's face it. That's important.
Just like you earlier said, that faculties have to be ahead of their times. Because if they don't do it, if they are not ahead of their times, then of course they're gonna be behind. And being behind means the students are being hampered.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
That's a good thing. Good that you're on top of it. There are, but apart from, so if we take out all the bad things that internet or technology might bring to a student ecosystem, there are several good things. When I say several, I cannot even count them. So countless number of things that a student may achieve, may do by himself, and grow his horizon, or whatever you call it, learning or IQ. I'm not sure of that exact term, but are you encouraging your students to upskill themselves in that way, where the assistants they don't require a teacher assistance? I'm not saying that they're studying without teachers. I'm not talking about online tutoring and all. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the primitive educational things. But the things, the upskills could be a singing lesson, or could be maybe we're talking about video games, could be a game building setup that he's learning. AI is coming up, could be a coding session, right? Something that he can reach out to the internet and just grab the information, start learning. Are you encouraging your students?
We do encourage our students. I'll just say that before CBSE introduced the skill subjects, we at Bluebells, we had coding, AI and data science in place from grade 6 onwards.
Wow.
So the reason was, as I was saying, as educators we need to be actually thinking what other skill sets which are required in future. So as an educator, I read a lot about the education systems abroad, different education system. What is that makes them move ahead of our education system, in spite of the fact, if we talk about Indian education system, the whole world talks about it. Still, our students, or maybe the students who passed out from the college, they are not reaching those positions. Although there's a change, but not everyone kinds. So there, like coding, AI and data science, we introduced almost 5 years back. 3 years back, CBSE formally announced it, saying that you can provide them as skill subjects. We were creating our own certificates, and before that I made my teachers getting trained in, when we are talking about artificial intelligence also, when it was introduced, before that there were so many sessions I made sure my teachers take. There's so many experts who came in and trained our teachers, because I cannot just introduce a subject because it's fancy and I like it. And I think, let's say Finland is doing it. I need the person who's going to deliver to be well trained. Partial knowledge is not great for any student. It's actually harmful, very harmful. So therefore, after that, right now, I have, if I'll just talk about the clubs, what we have in Bluebells from grade 3. This school is from grade 3 to grade 12.
Okay.
So from grade 3, we have financial literacy in grade 3.
Oh wow.
We have coding in grade 3, we have AI in grade 3, we have digital literacy in grade 3. That is technically being trained. For example, if I write an email, there's so many professionals even now who do not know the basic etiquettes of email. So these are the things what we are providing from now itself. Like if you look at it, grade 3, the so well versed. I did not have a financial literacy syllabus, believe me. I got hold of SRCC, there's a WIT club over there. We collaborated, and it was just for grade 12. So many conversations with them, and I wanted them to tell me, how do I start financial literacy from grade 3? Wow. So, you know, that was such a beautiful learning for us. I think as parents also, when we had sessions with the parents, they were in awe, saying that, is it? We never thought that pocket money, what we're giving, can actually become financial literacy for my child. And the child, many of the parents would say that, "Hum nahi batate hain kharcha kya ho raha hai." So I would say, you're wrong. Let the child know. You know, I was in one of, I'm not naming the school right now, one of the most influential school of Delhi. So the students out there, some of them did not know, like for example, they just cleared a, let's say, an examination. Cleared means getting a 60, and they would get a BMW. So they would come and talk to me. So I always would tell them that, do you realize, have you earned it?
Yeah.
You get it? Is it that you've earned? So that's where I think it's important that these subjects to be introduced. So when we, sorry, I deviated a little bit. I come back when
that's
we're talking.
That's the economist in you talking, right?
So these skill subjects, apart from this, our school had fashion studies for almost now 20 years.
Yeah.
And fashion studies, not like that fashion studies only. It's like so many of our students are in NID.
Wow.
And now it's become like a trend. If you look at it, NIFT, NIT is very, very common in Blue Wells. Very, very common.
All right.
Because of the skills what we are providing to them. And constantly, like recently, our alumni is Abhishek Gupta, is from High School Moms. So he was also there. So he also had this conversation that, remember, the skill sets would be more important than the degrees and the subjects what you would be choosing. So that's where we work.
Because that's what we're trying to do now, make them a good human being rather than a you know, a robot.
Yeah,
right.
And also making them employment ready is critical. That's what I feel.
Absolutely. So a holistic development of a student will be, I mean, I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad thing, but today holistic development is assessed by the kind of work that student is doing eventually, right? I don't want to comment on that because I'm also from that part of the generation, but then again, it's a different conversation altogether. So let's not get there. But you said financial literacy. Earlier I gave you an example where my friend had a bill of 86,000 rupees on his card. I think his son is in what, 10th or 11th, I believe. Not sure exactly. But do you, as in financial literacy, you are probably telling them the value of money rather than the...
In grade 11 and 12, it's different. It's grade 11 and 12 when we are talking financial literacy. It is, we keep talking about, like for example, the knowledge of SIPs, the saving, the thrift. Like it's a complete stock market. Like, so that's very, very entirely, it's a proper curriculum what we follow, financial literacy, and we have collaborations like with SRCC is one. It's a WIT club where Blue Bells formally has collaborated, and we have sessions like across, and the experts come in, and from here also students, recently they had gone for an internship program also over there. So what I feel is that at least, you know, with the child when he passes out from our school, he should be literate enough to know that, you know, this is my earning, what I've earned when I was in grade 11 and 12. So that's something what we keep encouraging.
Yes, the accountability of every penny that you're
they would
spending.
not have a PAN card, but then we encourage them to get into stocks and SIPs via their parents. And there's so many of them who are like brilliant with, and they're earning and they keep talking about it.
Maybe it's off the topic. My brother, when he got off the school and then he started working with, while doing his engineering, he started working some small IT gigs very eventually, and he started paying off his fee from there. It wasn't mandatory for us. The school fee would have been paid by the parents, of course. Correct. But he just said, okay, if I can pay, I can do it. He just roped in a few clients from US, and then he started working from them, taking up some tech gig, and getting it done and getting paid in dollars. Back then, I think that was what, 2008, 2009 I'm talking about. And he was doing well, pretty well. He continued the same thing while he was doing his MBA, and then later on, wherever he has gone, he has been very active about, you know, how and where his money is going. So that is why I'm taking his example, is because that is my learning source.
Absolutely.
I was not being taught the way
the students are taught now.
Can be taught today, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was like कि किसी रिश्तेदार से 500 रुपया मिला, तो I was supposed to give it to my mom, and my mom was supposed to give me 20 rupees in exchange for that, and I used to spend that money. They might ask क्या खर्च करा, and they might not ask, right? But that was my sole interaction with money. That was the only time. कभी कभी तो it was like कि 500 का नोट देखे देखे भी साल निकल जाता था, कि हम देखते नहीं थे, क्योंकि parents were spending that money for us. And for today, but today it's 500 rupees is nothing.
True.
For a student. I mean, जा रहे हो, I mean, the cost of everything is so high, the price is so high that even for a cab ride they need some sort of money, जो कि बड़ा figure हो.
बड़ा figure होता है.
How do you think that parents can help with this ecosystem, the financial literacy I'm talking about, particularly about financial literacy, not other upskilling, but how can parents be involved actively? How do you think that parents can be involved?
Generally, before introducing the clubs, we have conversations with the students and parents, like why are they choosing this club? So for financial literacy, there's this example of Australia. You know, there's this application what the parents use over there. So for example, I'm giving rupees 100 to my son, so I'll upload that information over there, and when the child is spending it, the complete information is available to the parent as well as the child, like wherever he's spending that money, a card is being given, then so there's a complete track over there. So that's how the students and the parents get to know, and they can make the child understand, you know, what spending is, what earning is. Second is what I keep talking to these parents is that, for example, I'm giving rupees 100 over and above because I'm providing food, lodging, everything as a parent. So is it not over and above? So tell them, earn it. Make them do small little things at home. Make them know what earning is. After earning, make them save out of it. I'm giving 100 rupees, let's say save 10 rupees. Give them some incentive for saving. You put 10, I'll put 10. Like Provident Fund. So that's how in the initial years it can start off. Then is sharing the complete, like for example, in economics when we are teaching, so when we talk about, there's a component known as compensation of employees. So we talk about, you know, when there's wages and salaries. Apart from that, what else is there? So I keep talking about, like, there's a bonus, there's a DNS allowance. The kids do not know what is DA. We need to explain them what is a DNS allowance. So I keep talking to the parents, please share your pay slips. Let them know, let them be literate. There's nothing great in saying कि अरे हम 100 रुपए कमाते हैं और हम 200 खर्चा करते हैं. You're giving a wrong example to the child. Because today itself, there was this parent who was talking to me, and being a single parent, she was just sharing how she's managing the expenses. And she also shared, she's just a grade 5 child, she was talking about that this child says that, Mom, you're spending so much, so please do not spend this much on me because your finances are this much. I was super happy and amazed.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, because if the kids know, I think things would change completely. For example, they want to go for a party, and you have just rupees 1,000 at your place, and you give the complete rupees 1,000 to the kid because you want the child to be chilling out and be happy as per the other students over there. Did you do a good thing? Not at all. I think not at all. The child would know that this is my income, I can spend much more than that. That becomes a habit. Imagine the complete economic crisis which was there in US.
Yeah.
You know, the complete bubble which crashed. What was that credit?
That's
so that's why people give example of Indian financial system. That is why financial literacy is super important from day one. I would say day one.
Day one, yeah.
Make this habit of earn it.
I completely agree with
and
you.
we personally feel abhi chota hai, stock market kya, they understand everything.
Everything.
I'll just share one interesting fact from Bluebells. I think years back, one of my nephew was in the e-cell of IIT Mumbai, so he would talk about it, chachi aise karte hain, and after that my son. So somehow when in Bluebells, now this is the 4th year, yes, I said let's launch a e-cell. We have an entrepreneurship cell in our school. So everyone said, ma'am, what are the, like, why e-cell? We have other things out there. I said, hey, let's launch a e-cell. We have design thinking very, very strong in our school. We have a design thinking fair every year, and the kids come up with their ideas. So I said, when the ideas are there, it's like a startup ideas. There are parents who are ready to fund it.
Oh.
So I said, let's go the other way around. Let the kids think and put up their ideas. The best of the ideas, I have mentors who themselves are startup like professionals. So there's 7 mentors in my e-cell over there. They're the ones who mentor these kids. Like, let's say I've come up with an idea, so they mentor, saying that, okay, this is how you present. My 5 students have won cash awards from IIT Mumbai, BITS Pilani, and the third where they'd gone to BHU.
Wow.
So after that, they said, okay, they won. I said, no, we are not stopping. Let's create something more out of this. So one Prasidhi right now, she has a project which has angel funding right now also.
Oh, wow.
So this is grade 12. I have 2 students, Sauransh Bhardwaj also. Now recently, almost 10-15 days back, I'll share the picture also, where he was awarded as the best startup idea, and Sauransh, when he started, it's basically nothing but an educational solution what he's providing. This is what is actual financial literacy for me.
Yeah,
saying that
it is.
Before they move out, they should have some kind of earning. And when I'm talking about internships also, our students intern every year. And that's a very strong cell what we have, internship cell, which starts from grade 6 now. Previously, we were just doing from grade 9, to be very honest. With the NEP coming in, I've introduced grade 6 also to internships. So that's what is important.
That is important, actually. 100 रुपए की वैल्यू 100 रुपए नहीं है, इससे ज़्यादा है. ये वैल्यू अगर बच्चा समझ सकता है, तो I believe it's a job well done for any educator for that matter. If your students are already creating ideas that we probably thought of.
If in case you get time in May, I'll do come and visit.
I will definitely.
We have this design thinking fair. We are otherwise state #1 design thinking school and all India #4 design thinking school. When we talk about, so design thinking was introduced because of a conversation like what we are making right now. Almost 4-5 years back, there was this conversation about design thinking, and I was a speaker. So I read and read and read. There was so much. So I said, then a conversation with my educators, and we introduced. First year 32 students came up with their those designs. Next year 320 plus. Now it's the complete from grade 3 to 12. We are going to showcase the projects.
I would love to come up. I would love to encourage the students, maybe fund 1 or 2 startups from your
but believe me, it's seriously amazing. This child he started with a Jeev Raksha app, which was just during pandemic, all these animals which are left. So he is very, very fond of animals. And from there, he's reached to a point where he's created that limb, the artificial limb for animals. And he's been awarded by the Government of India, Inspire Manak Awards.
Wow.
So it's all because of this process.
This is a good thing. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but last week, I was in Gurgaon. At a coffee shop, and I happened to overhear a guy talking to an investor, and I just happened to ask him about his startup and all, and then he said ki I just passed out class 12th and I'm raising funds for this startup. This is launching in this 20th of April. And the best part was he was not even from Delhi NCR, he was from Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. and he has come here to do this class 12th pass karke akela reh raha hai. Family is in Jharkhand, and I don't know where all they are getting this kind of gut or grit, whatever you call it.
If you give them exposure at the right time, everyone has it in themselves. It's just about the little push.
The right education really helps. So if there are certain points in education where we feel apprehensive about telling kids कि भाई हाँ ये ऐसे होना चाहिए just because of our own consciousness.
True.
But if we overcome that and just give them the information, give them the right information, and tell them what's right and wrong, they'll be able to make a better informed decision. And that is all is required basically.
But another thing out here is the educators who are providing this experience have to be very well versed. So that's equally important. So trainings, workshops, all these are super important for the teachers. So as leaders, I keep talking to the principals. We are at times, very selfish. We want the teachers to just teach, but I think we have to broaden our mindset also. If we do not train them, we won't get anything. Simple.
Wow. That was an insightful interaction, ma'am. I loved it, and I just can't stop talking right now. I have so many things in my head, and probably I'm going to talk to you after this as well. But with the constraint of time, we'll have to close it here. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. We loved having you here. There's a very not so unique tradition that we have there, where we get the mug signed by you. There are 2 mugs. You can sign both of them. We give you one.
Okay.
We keep one for ourselves.
Sure.
But yeah, please.
This is okay. I can sign anywhere.
Anywhere, ma'am. Wherever you like. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Completely my pleasure.
So this was it for today. Next time we're going to come up with another unique guest and an amazing conversation. Thank you very much for listening to us. Bye-bye.